So talk to me about The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like, incredible project, of course. Are you enjoying doing it? How did it come about? Because you said that you met. You said
Yeah.
that this has been in the works for like 25 years.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. So I met Deb Chow when I was working at the Factory Theater back in the like mid 90s, right? 94, 95. I was working at I got a government grant to learn about arts administration, and it was at the Factory Theater. And at the time, Factory was going bankrupt. And so all the shows had been canceled. The theater had been shuttered. They were in limbo. They didn't know if it was going to actually fold or not. And Ken Gass, who was the former artistic director, came back. And Ken, coincidentally, was my first year acting instructor at University of Toronto at the UC Drama program. And so I was there, and I was supposed to learn about arts admin, and there was nothing to administrate. And so, like, I was put to work as general laborer, basically. Cleaned up a lot of rooms. I did a lot of painting, a lot of reorganizing, just real like scut work.
Yeah.
And Deb was working there as an administrator, and so I met her there, and she was super cool back then. This really cool goth chick who had a really scary looking boyfriend who was super sweet, and she wanted to be a filmmaker. And one day she said, "Hey, let's. I'm shooting a short film. Do you want to be in it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to be an actor. So let's do this." So we spent a day in Chinatown along Spadina, and it was all MOS, so no dialogue. And I played this like detective, this old gumshoe who had a trench coat and a fedora, and I was looking for somebody. So we spent a day shooting. It was great, and then she disappeared. She's gone for 25 years. Didn't see her again until I'm at the Unforgettable Gala, and this woman jumps in front of me and says, "Paul, do you remember who I am?" And it's Deb. I'm like, "Oh my God, Deborah! Yes, I remember you. Where the hell have you been?" She said, "You remember that short film? That short film got me to Columbia Film School in New York.
Wow.
I learned the craft. I became a filmmaker. I tried to get work in Canada as a director, and there weren't very many job opportunities. She did a couple of little things, but then went to the States, and then ended up getting work as a director on shows like Better Call Saul, Fear the Walking Dead,
Wow.
Jessica Jones. And she said, "I'm working on a show right now called The Mandalorian." And I was, "Oh my God, you're working on The Mandalorian? That's amazing." She said, "Yeah, I've been trying to get in touch with you because Dave Filoni is a big fan of Kim's Convenience, and he wants to write something for you." And I was like, "Get the fuck out. Are you serious?"
And you're a Star Wars fan.
You're
I'm
a
the
massive fan.
huge f***ing Star Wars fan since I was 5 years old. And I remember I grabbed her arm and I said, "You do realize I have like 9 cosplays of like Star Wars costumes at home, like ready to go." She's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a member of the 501st Garrison, which is a group of dedicated cosplayers who raise money. They have screen accurate costumes they raise money for children's foundations, right?" And so, Lucasfilm, they sort of turn a blind eye to them because technically all these costumes are copyright infringement, but they'll turn a blind eye to it as long as you don't make money off of it. So
It's all going to donation.
they all donate it all, and it's a bunch of nerds dressed up in plastic space armor, and they do things for charity. And so she's like, "Send me the pics." So I show her all the pictures on my Instagram page. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm sending these to Dave." She texts Dave. Filoni texts back saying, "Well, he can just show up to work in those costumes," type thing. And she says, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "Oh, I got to go back to Toronto." She says, "Oh, I was going to invite you to come and visit the set." And I said, "Can I come back in like a couple of weeks?" She said, "Yeah, absolutely." So I did that. Came back a couple weeks later, got to watch Deb work. I met Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni.
Oh my gosh.
I got a tour of it. I saw Grogu for the first time before anybody else because they were shooting season 1. I was like, I lost my mind over that. Hung out at the props department, hung out in the costume shop, did all these really super nerdy things. And to cap off the day, Filoni took me out for dinner, and we just hung out and like just died in nerd heaven, right?
Wow.
And then 6 months later, I got a call from my agent saying, "So Lucasfilm is calling, and they want to know what your availability is," right?
Wow.
And that's how it got started. I didn't have to audition for anything. It was just they were shooting season 2, and they thought of me, and yeah.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
so that's how it
That's
happened.
incredible. But by the way, just because you didn't have to audition for that, I mean, that's all the decades of work
Yeah.
that you had put in. At a certain point, those are the seeds that you're sowing for tens and tens of years.
Yeah.
Doing this, and it's always a good feeling when that happens. Doesn't mean you still don't audition for other stuff.
No,
You know what
no.
I mean? Because that's what other people think too. They think like, "Oh, you did this big thing, you never have to audition again." It's like, no, the industry has gotten so competitive
Yeah.
and so saturated with people. you do have to watch your back, because people will do what you want to do for free. They
Yeah.
will do it for free.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they will die to have that opportunity. So it doesn't mean, you know, you still don't audition. You do for the things that are really big, the things that you really want. But once in a while, it's nice to get that call.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like, oh man, all those years of like hard work, like, wow, thank you. Like, you thank God, thank the universe, like, thank you. It's a nice kind of reward.
Yeah.
A nice little reward.
Yeah.